Hi there, it's Andy King from Email Love, and today we are going to build a best practice email design system using the Email Love Figma plugin through Claude. So this uses the Figma MCP, and we're going to start off by actually pulling some email examples from emaillove.com. We'll give those to Claude, and then Claude will use those to create the design system. And so the first prompt I'm going to use will be this one here, where we ask Claude to pull the Ford Motor Company email examples via our MCP. And so the MCP gives it access to over 400,000 emails on emaillove.com. And so it can then use those emails to create the design system. So you can see it working through here. It's pulling every brand that has the word Ford in it. But it should, you can see here it's now narrowed down to Ford Motors emails. And what it will do eventually is it will pull the HTML or pull the designs for those emails, audit them, and then use that audit to create the design system. Okay, so let's have a look here. So it's pulled quite a few examples. Actually, it's only got 3 examples here. So let's say, let's tell it to pull some more examples, just so we have at least, let's say at least 20 emails to build the design system off. There's other stuff you can do with the MCP. You can look at which email platform they're using. You can pull various data points that we have inside of emaillove.com. But in our case, for building the design system, we are just going to pull the inspiration example. So here we go. Here's 25 examples that it's pulled. And so we can then have Claude break these down into components for our design system. Yep, this looks like a fairly good number of examples. Okay, so it has the examples, and so this is just one way to get the emails into Claude. You could also just give it straight HTML. You could connect it to your ESP. If your ESP has an MCP, you could pull in the emails that way. I'm just using the Email Love Inspiration. MCP has an example. You can see here it says that Ford uses Salesforce. There's a few other interesting bits and pieces there as well. So now we can say use the Email Love Builder skill to create a best practice design system for Ford in Figma. Okay, so we have a migration skill that we've saved inside of Claude, and it will use that skill to build components that are compatible with the Email Love Figma plugin. And this can take a little bit of time, so I'm going to pause the video, and then when I return, it will have audited the components and told us what it's going to build. Okay, here is the audit that Claude did. So this is basically involving breaking down the components that we need for the design system. So it's listed a header, navigation, hero sections, offers, legal disclaimer block, image grids, and a footer. And so it has created the design system and the components in this file here. So if we jump over to Figma, here is the foundation that it's created for the design system. So it creates this itself. It's pretty cool. So it lists the color palette, it has the color examples, the type settings, the geometry and kind of the padding that's used. It's done this for me. You can obviously tell Claude this is the type of padding I want. It's got a few things here on the dark mode theme and the mobile settings as well. So it's pretty comprehensive. And obviously you can adjust any of this if you go back into Claude and tell it what you want it to do. And then on the left-hand side here, under the foundations, you have the different components that are kind of organized into different pages, which is how we typically would recommend organizing your design system. So you have the header components, the heroes. Let's zoom out here. So we have two different hero options. We have a few different single column sections, multi-column sections, lists, the footer, and then a test email that it's created here as well. So that is our Ford design system that it's created. And so what you can now do is you can open up the asset library, and then you can access these components. And it's actually applied properties to each component for us. So you can turn things on or off. Let's see, does it have any in this one? Let's have a look at a maybe a single column section. Yeah, so the button, for example, has a property that Claude has applied for us. You can tell it to apply properties to images, buttons, or text. So I could tell it to apply a property to this heading, this paragraph. But it's got properties for the headline, the body text, as well as the button label. So it's pretty comprehensive. And then if we open up the Figma plugin, we can select this email, and then we can preview how it looks in the plugin. So this is the actual HTML email preview. You can select the text, and you can see it on desktop and mobile. It's done a pretty good job. Like this is not, required me to go back and forth with it. You can obviously go back and you can say, I want to change the padding, or I want to change this or that. But out of the box, we've developed the skills to kind of tell it how to build this best practice design system out of the box. Things like the logo, I could tell it to use only transparent PNGs, for example. It's done a good job on the social icons, but this is pretty good. And if I send this I'm going to send this to Inbox Monster. We can take a look at how it renders in the inbox. But this is, as far as I'm aware, this is a good to go. This is a responsive HTML email made, in a pretty short amount of time using a design system. And it enables you to go directly from Figma to your email platform, with a couple of clicks. So this is definitely faster than building design systems manually. And again, it uses Claude via the Figma MCP, and then obviously you export via our Figma plugin. So I'm going to give it a couple of minutes for Inbox Monster to run the test, and then we will take a look at how this particular email renders on mobile, desktop, Outlook, Gmail, and yeah, we can see how that is looking in a minute. So let me just pause it, and I'll get back to you when that test has been run. Okay, so here we are in Inbox Monster, and let's take a look at how this forward modus email renders. So here it is in various Android, Outlook. You can see here, Outlook on an Android does change the footer to purple, but that's a dark mode. It's a dark mode thing, unfortunately. Otherwise, this is looking quite good. Yeah, the mobile rendering looks perfect. Very happy with that. If we go to the bottom, let's take a look at some of the usual suspects that cause issues. So this is Outlook 2022. Doesn't look bad in Outlook. You do lose the rounded corners on the buttons, but it's an Outlook thing. Unfortunately, we can't control that. Overall, this email is actually looking really good across all these different email clients. Let's take a look at this. Take a closer look at this one. So this is Outlook in Chrome in dark mode. Yeah, in my opinion, this is very good rendering. Especially considering, we're going directly from Claude to Figma to Inbox. This is a very, very good workflow. It's going to save you a lot of time, especially if you can use Claude or ChatGPT to build out that design system. So I'm going to publish this on the Figma community. So if you do want to play around with this forward example design system, I will publish it up there, and you can duplicate it, play around with it, or you can install your the Claude or ChatGPT skills yourself, and you can give this a go. So let me know what you think. Hopefully you found this video helpful. Thanks.